Hi, I'm meteorologist Alexandra Cranford at WWL Louisiana, getting you an update on Monday evening about the tropics, just getting you into what's happening and talking about all the different things that are going on this second day, I guess, officially of hurricane season on June 2nd. First of all, there are some clouds and showers around southern Florida and the Florida Straits and over Cuba. This general area of disturbed weather will drift to the northeast, and as it does, it will be out off the southeast coast of the U.S. The National Hurricane Center is highlighting it with a not very impressive 10% chance of developing in the next 5 days. So really just a spot to watch. Looks like eventually it could maybe take on a couple tropical characteristics. We will see. But really, this is just a regular low pressure system that will be out over warm water. And so the National Hurricane Center appears to be saying we're keeping our eye on it just in case anything were to happen. But again, this is off the southeast coast of the U.S. and not for us. Now, something I wanted to touch on quickly. We have no threats for us right now. However, if you maybe had been scrolling through social media, you might have seen some really scary posts possibly about a model run for way in the future. And this is just a good chance to start hurricane season on the second day by pointing out, and actually I was talking over the weekend about this as well, that some of the models, when you go way out in time, are going to start making storms that don't actually ever happen. And actually, the GFS is known for this. It's a bit notorious for drumming up these showers and storms, these complexes of thunderstorms that eventually the GFS turns into tropical systems. And they don't actually pan out. They're phantom storms, and everyone kind of knows about it. But if you're just scrolling through and you see this image, it's very worrisome. So I just wanted to point out this is way too far out to forecast reliably. Certainly, we're talking about June 13th. That's when some of these social media people are pulling these particular images and then putting them out there. I would assume to get a lot of clicks and possibly make some money. But here is the European model at the same time, which again is too far out to forecast. It has almost absolutely nothing, and certainly nothing over the Gulf Coast. So let me show you the European model going forward in time just to show you what might happen. This does take us until June 11th. It has nothing. In fact, our computer systems that input or take in all of this information, they don't actually even go past 10 days because it's not reliable to look farther than that with these models. So GFS forecast going out 10 days all the way to June 11th from now. It does start to show a couple of showers and storms here in the Western Caribbean. But again, it is just too far out to look at an image and say, oh, that's going to happen, or even to think that there is credibility to it even at all. When you get that far out in time and you know that these particular models start to do things like this, you really just take it with a grain of salt. You watch everything that you can. You look as far out as you reasonably can, which is the next several days, really. And that's about all we could say for now. But I would just point out, again, you're going to see this throughout hurricane season, opening up your phone and seeing some catastrophic kind of scenario. A good thing to do is to look at who the source is for these kind of clickbaity type of images and see whether it's a real source. Is it the National Hurricane Center? Is it Channel 4? Is it someone you actually trust? Or is it just some random collection of weather words that kind of looks official but probably isn't? This is the Saharan dust forecast, and this is another reason that we're thinking way far out even there may still be a pretty low chance of anything developing, even though, again, it's too far out to say for sure. And it does look like by next weekend we'll have this big plume of Saharan dust. When you have this and maybe another one on the way behind that over the Atlantic Ocean, it makes it really hard for tropical systems to get going. So just wanted to kind of address that really quickly and remind you that you're going to see that throughout hurricane season, and make sure you have a source that you trust to get your information from. That's not just trying to get you to click on your their article and get themselves some cash. Hurricane season 2025, just a recap for what we're expecting: about 13 to 19 named storms, perhaps about 6 to 10 of those becoming hurricanes, and of those, about 3 to 5 possibly major hurricanes. So that's pretty close in line, or maybe slightly above average for a hurricane season. When you look at the 30-year average for how many of those different types of storms that we've had. So if we did make it to that 14 named storm, or 13, it would be Melissa, and then it would go on possibly into these kind of names, Olga, Pablo, and Rebecca. But the first up would be Andrea. We don't see signs of that. And then Barry, Chantal, Dexter, Aaron, Fernand, and Gabrielle. Those would be the first ones. Also, just to highlight that in June, we really don't see all that much activity. We're watching everything really closely, needless to say, but we only get about 5% of a season's named storms in June. When you just look at, actually this is information going all the way back to 1851. The big important part really of hurricane season, not to say that you can just completely dismiss these kind of storms early in the season, but really it's August and then especially September. That's the most active time, as we know here. And then into October, it actually stays pretty active. However, at that point, we start to get our weather pattern changing as we move into fall, often with cold fronts. Sometimes that keeps any potential tropical activity away from us, kind of sweeps it off and keeps it far south of our coastline in October. So that's just sort of the general outlook and the general thinking as we get into the next several months, is that we will see that big ramp up in activity by August and into September. Also, it's Monday evening, just giving you a heads up on the 7-day forecast. No tropical activity in this 7-day forecast. And of course, we'll be with you all the way through hurricane season, getting you all the latest updates. Really what we're looking for, though, is just an increase in some rain chances, a few scattered showers and storms possible Wednesday through Friday, increasing mugginess, and also temperatures going up a little bit as well to highs in the lower 90s. So very typical first week of June kind of forecast, almost exactly average. And that's what we're looking for our 7-day forecast, with a little bit of a heat buildup, it looks like, by the weekend. Stay with us here on WWL Plus. You can watch our newscast, WWLTV.com. Tons of ways to get us on your phone app as well throughout this hurricane season. Take care.